In this video, we will learn about optional type. The optional type is indicated by a question mark. An optional means that it can contain a null value. In C language, a pointer to a variable can contain the null value. However, this is not an optional type. Now, let's look at the difference between these definitions, using a simple example. Suppose we have a structure. This structure contains some data, and also references the next element of the structure. Schematically, it can be represented as follows. We have a sequence of nodes. Each node stores a certain value, as well as a reference to the next node. This is a very simple example, so the implementation of the structure looks almost identical in C and Zig. However, in Zig we use an optional type. Let's see how it works. We create an instance of the structure named node1. Since we don't yet know what the next node will be, we assign the value null to the field next. We create exactly the same structure in C. Next, we create a second instance of the structure. Let's call it node2. Node 2 will be next, for node 1. Therefore, for node 1, we set the address of node 2 in the field next. And now, comes the most interesting part. Since the field next refers to the next node, we can use the field next to assign a new value to the field data. The C language enables us to perform this operation. However, the same cannot be done in the Zig language. The compiler indicates that the field next may contain a null value. Therefore, the compiler does not allow us to assign a value to the field data. Even though we have assigned a value to the field next, the compiler does not allow us to do that. If we forget to assign a value to the next field, the program will generate an error in C language. Such an error is impossible in Zig, because Zig will not allow us to perform the next operation. This is what distinguishes the optional type. The question arises, how can we assign a value to an optional type? There are several ways to do this. The first method involves using the if operator. This is a common and idiomatic way to unwrap optionals. The if statement checks if the optional contains a value, and if so, it captures that value into a new variable within the if block. We can only now assign a value to the field data. The second method involves using a question mark. It should only be used when it is absolutely certain that the optional will never be null at runtime. If it is null, it will result in a runtime panic. Optionals allow you to avoid many mistakes that often occur in the C language.